Hello.
Hi, Christine. Shalom.
Shalom, how are you?
Little bit better. Today wasn't that good in the morning, but better.
Oh, I'm glad it's better.
Yes, thanks God.
Mm. Welcome, everyone. Hello. Hey, why don't you put in the chat box who you are, where you're coming from, or say it out loud. I like out loud better personally, but.
Good morning. This is Hadassah Lozano. My first time in this group. Very excited to be part of it. And I'm calling from Pasadena, California.
Awesome. Hello, Hadassah.
Do you know anybody else that's out here in California?
Yes.
I would love to connect with people.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I would be happy to connect some people with you. We have a few who have been connecting over court stuff and all of the heavenly realms from California.
And hopefully you'll be out here one of these days.
And yeah, in fact, maybe soon. I'm waiting to find out, but I think I may have just earned a free trip out to California with my business. And so,
awesome.
Yeah, if that's the case, we'll definitely meet up. So, of course,
that would be great.
Anywhere near Pasadena. I don't even know where Pasadena is. So,
I know. It's where the Rose Bowl and the Rose Parade happens every year.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, let's get rolling, shall we? We just saw Hadassah is from Pasadena, California. Let us know where you're coming in from. Joy. Yes, Joy. Unmute.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, now I can hear you.
Hey, from Canada. I'm calling in from Canada. It's been a while, Christine. I missed you.
I missed you too. I'm glad you're here. That's cool. Thanks. Robert, where are you at these days?
I'm in Indianapolis.
Oh, you're still there, huh? Cool.
Yeah.
Or are you still there, or are you there again?
I'm there again. I just wasn't too long ago. I was in South Carolina.
Wow. I don't know how you do that. But it becomes your life, I guess, right?
Oh.
Lee, I hear you.
Hey. Oh, sorry. I'm figuring it out.
Pat says she's from Oshawa. Glee. Okay, unmute, Glee. Hello. All right, I'm unmuting you. No, I'm not. Try to unmute yourself.
Oh, sorry.
There you go.
I was figuring it out, so I'm like, ooh.
That's okay. So where are you coming from, Glee?
Hi, everyone. I'm from the Philippines.
Awesome. Is it middle of the night there?
It's 3 a.m.
Yeah, that's crazy. Okay.
Yeah.
You're a
I had a nap anyway.
Good. Awesome. Okay. Well, great. Thanks for joining us. And so, if you guys are not shy, it would be lovely if I could see your faces while we talk. You know, if you are too shy about it, I understand. Or if you have other stuff going on that you can't, I get it. But if you can show your face, it's wonderful. So, hello. Who just joined us on the phone?
Wendy.
What the heck? Wendy is again? How did I get less this week?
I don't know. Lucky you.
Yes. Wonderful. I've missed you.
I miss you too. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's get rolling. It's 2:04 here. It's 2:04 in the afternoon. Okay, not in the morning. Um, so I'll tell you, this has been a trying week. Has anybody else had this experience this week? Or is everybody on cloud nine? I don't know. No, nobody likes to answer me. Okay, well, oh, there's one. Is that Hadassah? Yes. Hi. So this week has been very trying for me, especially. I think everyone I know, actually, most everyone I know has had a really rough time this week. I think I have seen some things that have started to happen in the earth spiritually that I think that more of the enemy has been released. Spirit of depression that is working for the spirit of death has really hit hard this week. And it has been all over. The awesome thing, though, is that for those of us who will continue to go forward with what God has said to do and continue to press into Him, even though it can be really difficult, tremendous breakthrough on the other side. So the good news is there's huge breakthrough if we will stay faithful to what He's telling us to do and continue to move forward with Him. On the other side of it, if you give into that, I really believe you'll probably experience death. And so we don't want death, we want life, because Jesus came to give us life, obviously. But this has been a really tough week, and I think everybody needs to recognize that it's happening all around the world, that this is not something that is unique to you, that it is something that is happening to a lot of people right now. And so anyway, I wanted to say that because I've just talked to multiple people that have been super struggling, suicidal, who've never been suicidal, stuff like that. And so we know that a lot of people are going through this, and God has something better for us. So I've had a lot of people talk about taking every thought captive, and I am a firm believer that the only way that we can do that well is to have the Lord do it in the courts of heaven. And so I really recommend that if you are struggling with any kind of thoughts that are not from God, whether they're it could be something other than depression. A lot of people are having hatefulness toward other people, jealousy, all sorts of stuff. If you have anything that's coming in that is not from the Lord, I would recommend not just deciding that you're going to capture it and try to deal with it on your own, because that's what I did for way too long. I did that for many years, where I was like, okay, nope, I'm just going to do it myself, and I'm going to try to capture everything myself. And the truth is that the only way to truly overcome these things is by letting God do that. And so I believe that that's the power of the course of heaven, that if we are wanting to take every thought captive, that means we have to actually have God capture them. We need those chains broken for ourselves. And so God can do it for us. Yes, ma'am? Oh, sorry. I don't know what happened. Okay, I'm muting you guys. If you guys want to unmute yourself, go for it. All right, I won't be offended, but I also know a lot of people accidentally have background noise all the time. So let me ask, how have things truly been going for you? Have you had some great experiences you want to share, or have you had some struggles that you would like to be open about? I think that this is a very safe place where you're not going to have to worry about people judging you or anything like that. It also is a place where if you have crazy experiences with God, that no one can be crazier than me. So it works out. Okay. Connie.
Okay.
Is that Connie? No, I don't know.
Ilka.
Ilka. Okay. Ilka, what are you doing? Go ahead.
Okay. I have wonderful experiences with the Lord this week, actually, in many ways. At work, with I remember what the Lord showed you about the angel bringing money. It has been that many, but that much money, but in many instances has been $20 here, $34 there, like closing things that were open that I didn't have to pay for, and he was closing and added to $100. It was like in one way. So I know that things are being put in order, but this past week, I was, I have some friends, and I was talking to him about your class, and he was very excited, and he started the class. He went to one class, and I was very happy with for both of them. She did not speak English very well. He does speak English pretty well, and this I think that was on Thursday or Wednesday. I don't remember right now. But the thing is, no, excuse me, I think it was Thursday. I received a phone call, but I didn't recognize the number. I was at work, and when I called, it was from a very strange place, and I thought it was maybe just a missed call or whatever. And then I received a message from Carmen telling me that my friend's wife just committed suicide. And I was that was very, very hard. So I still trying to process it. And when I call him, I try to give him all the support. He was in Tampa because he was having taking a trip, father-son trip, because his son needed attention. So I think that he was recommended to give more attention just to him. So they decided to take a trip. He was the one that called from that because they were taking a flight from Tampa. And while she was with the youngest, which is, I think that he's like 10 years old, that's when she committed suicide. So the whole family, I mean, I know that they love the Lord. I know that she did. It has been hard.
Yes. Well, I'm sorry for what's happened. I know that the enemy is trying very hard to deceive, very hard to steal people's lives, to completely kill them. And, honestly, he's tricking a lot of people into thinking that that is the best thing for their family. And that it's all of it is just lies from the enemy. And I really believe that the enemy is attacking Christians and non-Christians in that way. And it does not mean that you don't believe or that you're not a follower of Christ if that happens. I really believe that the enemy comes and just does everything to try to trick you into thinking that it would be better for everyone if you were not here, or that the other side is where you should be, or whatever, that's the best way out. And so anyway, I just want to encourage you. I say this, some people believe that if you commit suicide, that means you immediately go to hell. I do not believe that. I believe that when we believe and come under the blood of Jesus, that we receive life, and that we are automatically citizens in heaven, and we are sons and daughters. At the same time, we fall all the time, and we do have an opportunity after we are in heaven permanently to come before the judge. And if they're a believer in Jesus, they're still standing under the chuppah. And so sometimes we choose a way that is not God's way, no matter what it is, you know, it happens to us all. And so that's my personal belief. Feel free to disagree, but I just wanted to encourage you, Ilka. I know that that's really hard, and that is, it has been the common theme this week, I believe. It's just happened to lots of people. Yes, anyway, I love you. Joy, I saw that you had your hand raised. I'm going to lower your hand. Go ahead and unmute.
I feel kind of almost petty sharing after that, but I do. I've been around a lot of people that are depressed right now. My son is depressed, and my roommate is depressed, and there's like a spirit of oppression around me all the time, and I'm trying to stay strong, right, in the Lord. I'm experiencing, you know, a little bit of a spiritual death in my relationship, and you know, things are changing. I'm not sure how they're changing, but it's a struggle. And yeah, so I'm not sure. I'm just glad to be here. That sounded like an AA meeting or something.
No, okay. So I didn't mean for all of this to be just, you know, depressing. On the other hand, I do believe that we need to be real with one another and be able to share, to get through. And when I say to get through, we always have to come into agreement in the heavenly realms to be able to see any kind of breakthrough. And honestly, most of us don't have that kind of fellowship to where we can share in a place and actually understand that there's victory on the other side, and know that when we share something like this, that that it isn't the end of the story, you know. So I say that to say, please be open, and it's okay to struggle, because there will be days when we have great accomplishments and great joy and everything works out the way we hope, and then other days when we think our world is falling apart. And you know, I had one of those days this last week, so I totally get it. Carol, go ahead and unmute.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Carol.
Good to see you, Christine.
You too.
And everyone. They had some struggles this week, but I just want to say that I'm so thankful for my sisters in Christ online, even if we don't connect every day and stuff. I just feel like I draw strength from your mentoring group and my friends that I do get to chat with and stuff. Because I don't know if other people live like this, but I don't have very many believers around me. And I just feel like they're a shield around me, even if I don't talk to them every day. These calls and stuff just help so much, and I'm so thankful for that, because life is a struggle, and especially people that don't believe need that extra stuff. And I had some beautiful things happen with non-believers this week that I've learned to kind of do as you've taught us, but I think I'm maybe getting better or practicing it more. I had one lady sharing just this horrific situation, and I just sat there as she talked, and I ascended to heaven, and I just, every little point, I just asked for an angel to go help with this and this and this. Everything fell into place for her. Her son was 2 weeks from finishing his internship, and he has autism, and he has a really hard time waking up. Well, they had warned him if he missed one more day, he would be completely kicked out of the program. And it was a huge expense for them, and just all of this, and she'd worked so hard for him to get through this. The teacher that gave him the hardest time went to bat for him and got him kept in the program. So 2 more weeks, he has to get up on time and make it to school, and he can graduate and go forward with his life. But they had a whole list of beautiful things happen, tragedies turned into good. And she came to me, she's never like agreed with me about God or prayer or whatever. She just kind of lets it slip by, you know. And she came to me and she goes, God answered my prayers. He answered your prayers. She's all, God is so good. And she asked to sow into my husband's life, which they're good friends. And medicine that we needed that we couldn't afford, she bought for him. Because she had such a breakthrough with her son being in school. So it was just beautiful to see how God worked in that situation. It was really awesome. But I had several little things like that where I was able to help people through their situation. And simply by doing as you've taught us and just learning to engage in the moment, not thinking, oh, I'll go and pray and get with my friends and pray or whatever, just doing it in the moment. So that was a big breakthrough for me too, to work on that.
That's awesome.
So thank you all.
Sure. Good. I see Connie and Anthony, they said we were praying for people with depression and someone's daughter who's in the ICU of drug overdose. Yeah, see, that's a lot of that stuff. Pat said, I have extreme pain in my muscles and joints besides being nauseous for 3 days, all from a puffer I need for COPD. Also received parking ticket for parking in my own parking spot. What? Lots of minor stuff that all adds up. Oh my goodness. And if it is weird, I'll tell you, I had the same sort of experience this week, except for, okay, had nothing to do with COPD or anything. But I was having this one, I guess it was more like 2 days, but it culminated in one day where, you know, I have been doing everything that that God has been leading me to do to the best of my ability, and it has still been not 100%, not even close, like 30% on everything I'm doing. This is what I'm saying. Like, I have stuff that I need to get done and I'm not getting it done. Every relationship I have is not as good as it should be. Everything is like that. And I'm doing my very best in the Lord. And I just got to this point where I am like, God, I know that you think I'm more responsible than I am because I cannot handle this. This is way too much, way overloaded for me. And every single thing, it's like there would be this thing that happens, and so then I'm coming against that, and it's like I can't govern everything, I can't do everything. And I finally was at this place where we were actually engaging in heaven in one of my intro classes. And of course, just like everybody experiences stuff that they don't write in the chat box or whatever. Hello. Here, you don't have to get on there.
I want to see you from the front.
No, you could. Yeah, okay, hold on. I have someone who just came into the room who is in our group. Come here.
Hi.
Okay, so here, pull your chair up closer, and then you can turn that off. It's just going to echo and drive me crazy.
All right.
Okay. I don't know if it'll work. I might have to push this up. Okay. Please forgive me. Okay. I can't do it when there's this echo in the room. It's like I can't even concentrate on what I'm saying. I don't know how I get like this. Okay, see if it will work to come in closer.
It's okay. I'm
desk.
good.
Yes?
I'm good right
Okay,
here.
see, you can see me.
Okay, I can.
Okay, so Linda is
Sorry,
also
guys.
here. I don't know if you can. No, you can't. I'm not going to show you.
No, that's okay.
Look, I have everybody see a fake covering. This is me. I'm being real by showing you my fake background.
It works.
I hate my wall because it's so bland and boring, and so I decided I wanted a background that gave a little bit of interest. And so anyway, but I also don't like to be fake, so there's this weirdness between these two things. But anyway, so I was struggling with a lot of just not feeling confident enough, not feeling like anything was good. I had everybody saying, but you're never spending time with me, and you're never spending time with me. And constantly everybody wants my attention all the time. And I was not getting the stuff God was saying. You need to write this. You need to do these oils. You need to do this business. You need to do my ministry. You need to go speak. You need to, how many things on a list can I do? And he has given me all of these things. And finally, I was engaging with everybody. And like I said, there are a lot of things that I experience that I don't actually say out loud in a class because, well, it's personal. And so everybody has the same thing. When we engage together, you'll experience things that are personal for you. But I was at my throne And I just said, I can't do it. I need a rest. I just need a rest. And Jesus put down this pillow in front of my throne and said, just go and rest, and I'll sit in your throne and I'll do things for you. And I said, okay. And he made it clear that it couldn't remain that way, that I needed to get back up and actually govern, but that for that time that I could just rest in him. And so I did, and I just gave it all up, and I said, all right, now it's your job. Okay, your job for a while. And so he started working things out, and what happened was later that night in the natural, I was talking to my husband, and I had like this little meltdown about everything, you know, and I just said, look, I'm having to do this, and I started naming everything that God has had me do, and including everything around the house with all of my family and all of everything. And he had no idea. And this is my husband who lives with me and knows me more than anybody. He had no idea what I was going through and what God had told me to do, all these things. And he just said, I don't want you to struggle with this. Please give me stuff to do. Like, I want to do it. And he said, you know what I can handle and what I can't handle. Please just give me more. And I just said, okay, come here and do this for me. I don't like any of this video editing, and I have to do all this stupid editing, and, you know, and so I'm giving him these jobs, you know, that, by the way, he loves all that stuff. Everything that I hate, pretty much. And so it's perfect, which is why God put us together. But what God was showing me when I was whining and complaining was that he has given me tons of people in my life with all these different gifts. And that even though he's told me that this is what I need to do, this is just what I need to help happen. And he will send all the people I need to do everything that needs to get done. And so that was a big relief, even though I don't know how it's all going to happen. You know, I don't know how to do fundraising. I say that. I can fundraise for other people all day long, but for myself, not so much. And so it's just, he knows. Here I'm crying again. I do this. I feel like the women are okay. All right, you guys, please forgive me. But anyway, I tell you, it's God knows what we need. He'll send every person, every dollar, or whatever form of money you use in your country. Anyway, he will send everything that you need. And he will send everything I need. Mm-hmm. And he will allow us to just rest in him. And he wants us to take responsibility. But it's also okay to give up that responsibility to God at times, as long as we take it back and we're okay to keep stepping forward in what he wants us to do. So anyway, Carol, I see you have your hand raised, so I'm going to lower your hand, unmute if you are unmuted. Good.
Am I unmuted?
You are. You are.
Okay. I thank you. Thank you for sharing from your heart. It always blesses me so much. And I'm not doing half of what you're doing, and it's where I want to go to. And I struggle with just taking care of my family day to day and just doing the mama stuff. And I haven't stepped past that. But it encouraged me so much, just making that little statement on your Facebook page, hey, you could post these in your files and you don't have to redo it. And when you said, my husband, I'll let him know, that just made my spirit jump and leap and like clap up and clap, because I was so happy to see him step into the ministry with you. Yeah. I knew you had such a weight on you, and I just think it's beautiful. And something God's kind of reminded me of maybe, and I've not activated it, was Katie Souza years and years ago was teaching about ascending into heaven. And she taught that when you receive like diamonds or jewels and stuff, often it was the people around you that would have skills to assist you in your job, in your walk, or whatever he called you to do. And I always think of the jewels that we gather. So.
Okay, say the last sentence again, because you cut off in the middle. Oh, darn.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just wanted to say thank you for what you're doing, and thank you for sharing your heart. And go, girl. You're doing great.
Well, thank
God's with you.
you. And you
thank
know
you for
what?
teaching that too.
That day you put that little comment about the files is the one day that I was so overwhelmed and that Dustin took a load from me, and I was trying to teach him all these different things, and so it was perfect timing, and it was just like even Carol's helping me now. This is what God was saying to me. Even like that one little statement is like, see, even Carol can help you. And you know, all of you actually have gifts. I know we're all supposed to help each other out. So if you have something that you've been like, hey, I really know I can contribute this, just please do it. It's going to save me. That's what it's going to do. So please do. Anyway.
I so love to help. I just want to say this too. God showed me years ago that he intends for my husband to come alongside me and support me in doing this type of stuff. And I guess it just encouraged me that it's coming. It will happen. And I can't tell you how much it just helped my heart go, okay, it's going to happen. So
that's good. That's good.
Right?
Thanks, Carol.
Love you.
Love you too. And Glee, I see you have your hand up. Okay, I'm lowering your hand. What's up?
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, this is sorry. This is the first time that I talk to you guys. So please forgive me if I'm not really good with some words, but I just want to thank you, Christine. I know it's been like a few months that I got to stumble upon your channel, and I was really blessed. Mostly, I don't know if but I really struggled before because I there was a season, I think last year, that God just let me rest for, like, I was doing ministry work, I was doing like church stuff, and then suddenly I don't know what happened, but I just got it. It all just changed, and yeah, I was like, what's happening? I can't understand. So I had to go through like wilderness, like inner healing. I also even like what Carol said about Katie Souza. I was also subscribing her and went through some healing and stuff, and then I was connected to I even I was like seeking, and it was kind of hard for me because actually here in my city there's not really like much welcome with teaching about like what we are learning and what we are tackling now. So it's been really difficult for me last year, and it's just lately that I got out of it, and I'm thankful to Christine. Actually, I was like, wow, like I was really watching the videos, even if I wasn't able to attend um, some of your engaging stuff, and I just got here right away. I was really watching every movie, every videos, because I was really blessed, and actually some of it I was challenged as well. I was like pausing it for a while, and then okay, let's continue after days. So it was like, yeah, it was a journey that you probably didn't know, but you were talking about it. But yeah, it was funny. Actually, Hazel was my friend, right? You know that. So I don't know if she's here, but she was the one who also like encouraged me. And yeah, like I was like, okay, Hayes, I will watch it later. And then after I watch it, oh, I will engage, and then I will do it. And then oh, something happens, and then I'll do it the other videos again, and then until I'm here. And I actually had a dream of you last time. I was praying to God. I'm like, okay, Lord, where do you want me to connect or what? Because I think it's about time for me to connect. It's been a while since I had like just me and the Lord. So I'm like, okay, I think it's my season. So I was like, and then there was a dream of mine where I saw you like on a red something like a red truck, or I don't know, it's a red truck, and then I think it was in the Philippines. I don't know.
And you said that you want to come here, right?
I do.
So yeah, I also like saw some people, you and someone I know that is here in the Philippines, and I'm like, oh, okay, probably in the future he's gonna be connected with this person. So I'm like, okay, Lord, just I'm praying for that, and if yeah, provision, if she comes here, like have your way. So
Yeah. So that's why I also messaged you because I think it's about time.
That's awesome.
15.
You know what? I have no idea. We haven't connected that much because you have been watching everything behind the scenes. But for some reason, I have always known that you would be with me, if that makes sense. Like, I just have felt connected in the spirit. And so I will see, like, I saw your graduation on Facebook and I was like, oh, so excited. And just things like that. That is so funny, as if I know you really well or something. But it's because in the spirit, I feel like I do. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, so thanks, Glee. And I don't know when the Philippines. I have not been given a date yet, but I do feel in my spirit that's what's happening. So that's why I always talk about going and eating Hazel's food, because like I know that's going to happen. So
You're always welcome here,
Thank you. All we have to do is ask the Lord to give us the time and a team, probably, and also the finances. So, yeah, that's cool. Awesome. Well, I appreciate that everyone has been transparent too. It helps me to be transparent when other people are. And so, I don't know. I say that. I've always been pretty transparent. That's something that I don't like anything hidden. At the same time, I don't always offer up things unless I trust people. And so there has to be some sort of trust that is formed. And so I know that I'm getting to where I can talk in front of anybody. But that doesn't necessarily mean I'll open up the inner parts in front of everyone. And so I try to be as transparent as possible. But that's, it's hard and it's awesome all at the same time. It's hard because, being vulnerable is always hard. Because when you're vulnerable is when you can be hurt. At the same time, when you are open and transparent, then all of a sudden the light can come in. And when the light comes in, it just illuminates everything. And then there's no hidden sin. There's nothing, And that's freedom, you guys. That's freaking freedom. Because when we have this transparency and we can just be open, and we don't have this hidden sin, there's no freedom that's like that, it's just wonderful. We live our life in chains forever, and we don't even realize it until we have the freedom and we go, wow, yeah, if somebody came into my house and went through all my stuff, well, they'd probably take some electronics or something, but really, like, they wouldn't find anything weird. And it wouldn't be like that if you came into my inner heart. You would not find anything weird. Well, you might find some weirdness, but you wouldn't find hopefully nothing ugly. I feel like all of my ugly is covered by the blood, and so it's cool. And this is how it should be, is that we can open up our ugly to get covered and then keep walking forward, So anyway. Hi, Linda.
Hi, I love you.
Linda just came back from Colorado, and so she is here. She moved out to Colorado for a little while, and now she's back.
I am.
It is wonderful. So I've been excited to have her back. She lived with us for quite a while, and I got used to her. And so then she left, and I'm like, all right, how does life go on without Linda? And it did. Maybe didn't go well, but it did. It did go on.
I knew it would be fun.
Oh, God knows. Yes. So it's good to have you back.
Glad to be here.
Too many tears for one day. This is ridiculous. Anyway. Well,
There are rules. You cry, I cry. That's the way it goes.
I don't like crying. Everybody else says, "Oh, it's good for you." I'm like, I'm not sure what's good about it.
Yeah, you gotta clean out those tear ducts.
I tell you. I've always been a crier. I'm getting a lot better to where I'm not as much now, which is hilarious. You guys probably see the most of my crying. But I've gotten to where I'm not as connected in my soul as I have been in the past, and I've always been a super feeler. And I think what happens is now I still have, I'm still sensitive, but I'm not overcome by the emotions, if you know what I mean. Because I think my emotions always overcame me. Pat says, it's for those tears that Christ died. That's awesome. That's going to make me cry. What's up? It's true. That's a good word, Pat. That's tweetable. I need to tweet that out and put it by Patsy with 2 Z's. That's awesome. This is your new name. Patsy is going to be what you're known by on the internet now, just so you know. Oh, goodness. Oh, I love you too, Pat. What's up, Celine?
Hey, Beth. Let's spend some
Why are you asking me instead of your dad?
I don't know.
Nope, go ask Dad. I'm in the middle of the class.
Can we say yes or
See,
no?
this is my life.
Just say yes or no.
Yeah, go. Ask Dad. All right. This is another thing. All the kids have to come to me for everything. I have a husband who is a good father in the other room. See, Carol knows what I'm talking about. I'm telling you, they come to me for everything. I'm in the bathroom on the toilet, and they think they need to come and ask me something when he's sitting there on his phone. It doesn't even make sense. I'm in the middle of a class, you guys. Anyway, it's not a class, a group, whatever. Oh, goodness. Well, I will say this. There has been some really good stuff that has happened lately. I think I may have told you, and maybe not all of you have even heard this, but there's been a whole lot of witchcraft that has come against me and the ministry that I serve with. And it has been rough, and everybody has been affected by it who's attached to this blueprint. And for a while, have you ever, okay, I have the struggle, so hopefully everyone else will understand, but sometimes because I'm a feeler in my soul, I want to please people. I want to get things off of me. I don't want to make too many decisions. I'm done with decisions, stuff like this. This is how I am in my soul. And so there was a person who came in and was being really, really pushy. And I usually, in my soul, I just, okay, whatever you want, just let's get through it, And so I just kind of let it happen. And this one time, she wanted to do something with the ministry that we serve with. And honestly, she was so bugging me about it. I was just like, whatever, sure, fine. You'll see if it's available, whatever. And God really convicted me about it. And so the next time we had a decision to make, we did not do that. We were governing over it well. We went and benched over it, went to the heavens to see what God said about it, all that good. And things just kept getting worse. And it was because we had agreed to that first thing. And without governing over it at all in the heavens, we were just fine, whatever, that sort of thing. And I was like, well, we better let our yes be yes and our no be no, that sort of thing. And God just kept giving us these checks in our spirit all separately. And finally, with each of us, made it super clear we were not supposed to do it. And so we finally were like, I don't know how to do this. And so we finally just said, we're going to be obedient to God, even if it messes up everything, you know, for this other person. We have to just do what God says. And in the meantime, the witchcraft just got worse and worse and worse. And it was like lots of that coming against us. I mean, everybody having these really awful dreams about witchcraft stuff. It was terrible. And finally we cut it off. And it has all gone away, and it has been wonderful. So I am praying that it stays away. But I personally have not been around witchcraft. I mean, this is not something like I've never known. Okay, wait, I've known one person who was into that in my whole life, and really not anything I'm used to. And so it has been wild to see really how diligent some of these spirits are that are using people in witchcraft to just mess with really serious ministries. And so if you are stepping into this and you are stepping into the ministry, please govern well. Okay? If you learn something, do it, and just do it well. Because one of the things that I have learned is that I can't put my guard down, even for a minute, unless, like I said, I'm resting in Jesus and let him do it. But I can't just not take responsibility. That is something that once he shows us our responsibility, we have to do it. And it's not hard work, actually. It's just that we need to remember to do it. And we need to be diligent to seek him in everything, and to make sure that whatever we're doing on the earth is lining up with what's happening in heaven. Because if we're going against that, it's all going to be terrible. And we're allowing those things to come into our life. And so if you are experiencing a lot of pain in your body, or brain fog, or maybe even really serious financial stuff coming against you, it could be because you're not governing well, and because you aren't taking the responsibility that you're supposed to take. Could be. I'm not saying it is necessarily. There are other things that can be as well, but I just want to put that out there since I've experienced that this week. Carol, there you go. Oh, unmute.
It's me again.
Hi.
Hi. That kind of hit a note with me, and I was just kind of wondering about some stuff that happened. Last night, some friends dropped by, and they said, let's have a party. I said, well, you're cooking. And I let him cook and take care of stuff. And my neighbor that I hadn't talked to for quite some time, her son came back. Beautiful story. She had to put him up for adoption because she got a severe disease and put her in a wheelchair. And when they were toddlers, she put her twins up for adoption. And so they turned 18 and they found her, and one came to live with her. So it's beautiful. And she keeps, messaging me, I want you to meet my son. And so finally she messaged me right in the middle of that. And I said, just come over now. And she said, well, I have some friends. And I said, that's great. We'll put some extra steaks on and we'll have a party. So as soon as she said, okay, these three, I put my phone down and I felt sick. I ran for the bathroom and I was sick for a while. I showered. I mean, it took me a while to get over it, well enough to come out and say hi and stuff. We had a nice evening with them, but none of them lived a Christian life at all. The son's gay, or appears to be. Their friend that came with him is, and then the other two just, I know she's gotten into like Hindu or something. I don't know the other religions very well. But anyways, we had a lovely evening. And actually the gentleman that was gay, the older gentleman, asked to pray over our meal, which I thought was really cool and very awesome. But this morning I woke up still feeling ill again. And I was like, because I know I've slowed down on, I do living sacrifice and I do communion nearly every day, or sometimes more than, during the day. But I haven't been commanding my day very well at all. And I just felt checks in my spirit several times, or like wait or something. And one of my friends mentioned, maybe you don't have the authority yet to do it in that way. I don't know. And so I was like, well, was that connected? I didn't command my day, and these people came into my life, and it was some type of witchcraft or other spirits that got me? Or did I drink something bad and make me run for the bathroom? So a couple points there, I guess, on that.
Yeah. Well, I think this happens to me every time, especially now everybody has their own convictions about if they need to be commanding your morning and all of that. But when I don't, it is clear that the enemy takes that opportunity to do that, to basically come in and wreak havoc. And it's so clear. I can't even explain like how it can be totally fine. I forget to do that. And then all of a sudden I see all this stuff come in. It's like my boundaries. It's like I've opened a gate. Like I've just said, here are my boundaries. And then all of a sudden that one day it's like I'm going, okay, there are no more boundaries. And I don't know why it's so important. I don't know. I don't fully understand the why behind everything. I just know that that's how it is. And so I know that every single day I have to do it. And if I don't do it every single day, stuff happens. And Dominion, it is. It's about taking your dominion. And so I would say it's not that you don't have authority. You clearly have authority. You clearly have authority because one, Christ is in you, but you've been walking in it, and you've been walking in the authority. And so when you're not taking the authority, that's when it is. It's just like a toddler that you have, and you're really diligent in disciplining, and then all of a sudden one day you're like, screw this, I just need to sleep. Well, they're gonna go and they're gonna like go crazy in the house because they don't have that authority over them at that moment. And so it's the same sort of thing with the enemy. What we're doing is we're taking authority where we have authority. You know what authority you have. You have authority over your home, your family, all of these things. I'm not saying your husband doesn't. It's not like that. I'm just saying for you, you do. And if you're not spiritually protecting that, somebody has to be. And so if nobody is, then there's a problem, right?
Right. I have another question that goes with that. I have several people in my life that just aren't Christians, between my husband and neighbors or whatever it might be. When you do the commanding the day and, put the bloodline around your family and stuff, do you believe that it keeps the spirits that control them or whatever that is away from you and your family? Or does that make sense? Or does it keep people away from you, or does God discern that? I don't know. Does that make sense, what I'm trying to ask?
Sure. Yes and no. Okay, sometimes there are still spirits that can be allowed in, but only if it's God's will. And I know that it may sound a little weird, but here's, for instance, okay.
Right now.
I had the very first time I did the Intro to Engaging Heaven class. If you guys, I don't know if any of you were part of that. Some of you were, I think. But the first time I did that, it was over the courts of heaven. And so that first class, we went into the courts. I don't know if I shared this with everybody. I'm sure I didn't. But we had the weirdest court session. Okay, it was so strange. And but before the class, I had governed over all of it. Okay, so I had been very, very particular in who was coming and who was not, making sure that only God's will was going to happen. And so what happened was there was someone who joined into that class who no, that's not when Jezebel was there. Well, maybe, actually. I don't remember. I do remember that what happened was a bunch of the demons were like out of hand, going crazy. And it was revealed to me and a few other people that there was a witch who had come in and who was trying to wreak havoc. And so what happened was everything in court went crazy. And it was like, okay, here I am just trying to teach people how to go through the court process, and nothing happened that was normal. But what happened was God showed his authority in such a great way during that time that everything changed. And I've never seen a court case that went so marvelously in everyone's favor. It was like, it was so cool. It was just, God was showing his authority. People were feeling the love of God, and it was awesome. And so it's, what my point is in saying this is that I governed over that. So only those who were supposed to be there would be there. So when that happened, I could be confident that if this is happening, God's still in control and knows what's up. And that is exactly what happened. This person came in and everything went crazy, but he took all of the control, and everything turned out better than we could have expected, not worse. And so even though the enemy meant that for evil, it turned out better for all of us. And so my point in saying that is sometimes even when we're governing, spirits can come to us, but it has to be God's purposes that come from that. It won't be that someone's sneaking up who shouldn't be there. And so if you're governing over that and you really are commanding the morning and all of that, I would just be confident that the enemy will not be able to control anything. And that if the enemy is allowed to you, it will be God's will for you, and it will be for all of your benefits. Yeah.
I have another question.
Okay.
For advice, asking for advice. When I feel like I was commanding my morning and stuff better, more diligently, when my husband came to me one morning and wanted to sign up to bring an exchange student to live with us through the summer. And I said, okay, and pray, God, if this is your will, open the doors and close them if not. Well, we got through the entire approval process, and we have a Japanese student coming to stay with us for a month in July, which is very exciting. But it's still in my soul, maybe I feel a little leery about it, just, completely unknown, doesn't speak English very well at all, learning English with us, it's a bit. But so his dad friended my daughter this morning and just said greetings and basically excited for my son to come visit you, stay with you and stuff. And so I, curious, looked on his website or his Facebook page, and definitely a different religion with all these dragons and different things that aren't Christian. And I was like, oh, what are we allowing in our home? Is this going to be okay? That was just before I got on the call and stuff. But just start commanding my morning, stay diligent on that. And any other advice? Bring to it, but
that's hard one, because of God. I mean, I would just have to be clear that God is saying to do it. If he's saying to do it, it's going to be awesome, and it's going to. I mean, I had an exchange student friend growing up who stayed with. She was Buddhist, and she came and stayed with my friend who her parents were in the ministry, and it was the best thing ever for her. She came to know the Lord. It was wonderful. It was a good situation. And not saying that every situation will be like that, but it could be for that reason. On the other hand, I would be very clear that as for me and my house, we serve the Lord. I believe that you need to be clear about that, and not disrespectful by any means, but be clear that that is what they're walking into. And maybe even say if that's not okay, that, they might need to be placed with somebody else. That's me. That's what I would do. I'm not saying you should do that. I would just, of course, pray and do what you feel led to do. But that's what I would do, because for me, it has to be clear that it's under my authority or my husband's authority, but it's ultimately under Christ's authority, is anything in my home.
One thing that kind of I felt was confirmation to me, and it was a little odd. Right before this occurred, I was in the heavenly places, and I saw what looked like 3 men, angels, I believe, standing in a row. Actually, there were 4, 5. There would have been 5. And I was watching them, and they were standing in a line. I thought, those look like the statues they show in China, like by the Great Wall, like you see on PBS or something like that. And then it was like the table turned, and my children were there playing on the table, like coloring and art and stuff. And I was telling my husband, I said, I saw what I thought were angels and stuff, and I kind of described them. And he said, that sounds like samurai warriors. I was like, samurai statues. I was like, maybe it's what it was. You know, it was very odd for me. I'm trying to kind of discern what that was. And then it turns out we end up there. And I don't know if angels can look like samurai warriors, but the way I described them to my husband, he said, yeah, those are samurai. I don't know. I told him it was a dream and that I had seen these like protectors around the children.
Huh.
So I don't know.
Well, you know, I'm
Is
sure
that weird?
they can look like samurai warriors. I'll tell you, I had an experience one time where I was in the heavenly places, and it was the first time ever that I experienced a dragon. It was not on my mountain, but it was on someone else's mountain. And I had heard people say that demons manifested as dragons a lot, but I honestly had never experienced it, so I didn't truly believe it. I'm like this: if I don't experience it, I don't believe it until I experience it. And so it's not exactly a good trait to have, but that's a trait that I that I have. And so anyway, so once I experienced it, I'm like, oh my goodness, this is real. And all of a sudden I had this huge samurai sword, and I turned into almost this samurai warrior, if you will, where I just went.
Wow.
It was so simple, and it was as if I were on one of those movies where it's all choreographed and fake. It was like, oh, I just turned into this like almost dancing samurai warrior, and it was so simple. There was no striving to it to defeat this dragon. And so anyway, it's really interesting. I was just observing myself doing that. It was bizarre. And so anyway, I have to say that because apparently it's a thing.
So I'm not crazy.
I would say not, but you might think I am. So no, I think that it's not. And I think that God probably is preparing you for what's to come. And if you have angels who are protecting your children for that reason specifically, awesome. You know, praise God for that. So
Right. Yes.
wow, that's cool.
Well, I'll keep praying into it, but
Absolutely.
thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry, I keep talking, guys.
Man. Okay. Okay, Lee, you said I need to read what you said. Same here. Monday last week to some days, my dreams were horrible and of witchcraft, to the point I'm afraid to sleep. So I had to let God speak to my situation. He showed me something I had to obey that I didn't. Oh, that stinks. But it's wonderful too at the same time. And you're like, oh, you mean all I have to do is this? And it's
better to know.
It is better to know.
It was really funny. It was scary, but it ended funny because I'm like, okay, Lord, you've given me authority. I shouldn't be scared, but the dreams were scary, so I don't need to say it now because it's ended. So I'm like, it's kind of like, oh, I don't want to sleep because I might, it's just scary. But anyway, I asked God, okay, God, this has to end. What's up? And then He told me something that I unknowingly disobeyed. So that's where
Oops.
Satan probably got a foothold on me. So it's like a witchcraft thing, rebellion. If you have rebellion in your life, that sort, witchcraft can like attach to it. So that's why, okay, Lord, I repented and I dealt with it. So I had good dreams after that. So yeah. And also I followed the command your no, this living sacrifice. I'm repeating your video every day.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Because I was like, I have to sleep well. I have to sleep well. Yeah. So
Wow.
basically that's it.
Well, praise God. It's so funny because, God, when He first was having me do videos, I was not comfortable with it. It was like, really, God, I am not doing this. That's kind of how I felt about it. I did it anyway, just because He said to. But
You had to do how many days in a row?
I had to do 90 days. I don't know if I told you this. I had to do 90 days in a row of Facebook Live just to get prepared for what He was doing with me. And I didn't know why actually at all. But then He started telling me to put these activations on Facebook, or not on Facebook, but on YouTube. That you were talking about, like the living sacrifice one, the communion one, the mobile quartz one, just a few. And I think we'll do more than that eventually. He's shown me some other things. But I would just be like, okay, I don't understand why I'm supposed to do this. And I really didn't, because I didn't have anyone who was, except for I did understand the mobile course activation, because I had a lot of people asking me to help them go through it. And so I knew He was trying to free up my time and help people do it themselves, basically duplicate. But the other stuff I didn't really understand, and I was just being obedient. And so it's always a blessing to see, oh yeah, this really is helping people, because it's like,
Yeah, it does.
who knows? I would not have done it. So I
Yeah.
would not have ever put that on YouTube. So I'm glad I did know, just because of that.
Yeah. Thank you. It did help me. Like every day, that's my reference because it's easier and it's really like heart. I feel it. So I'm like, oh, I'm like shivering every time I activate. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm ready for the day.
That's
All right.
awesome. Praise God. Cool. Christine, thank you, Christine, for being obedient. I also been using the activations. Yay, good. See, God knows. I just need to trust Him every moment.
There's that.
I know. And I'm sorry, I keep touching my head. I got a sunburn. I don't know if you can tell. I got a sunburn yesterday, and even my scalp is sunburnt.
Ouch.
So I keep like touching my head. I don't know why I do that, but anyway. This is what happens. I'm losing some of the red in my hair, but I've been a redhead my whole life, and so I get really burnt and freckly. I have I don't know if you can see, but all of my freckles, they're growing together. Anyway. Oh, I wish I were like some of you who have some dark skin, but God knows He put me like this for a reason. So anyway, I know that what He is, He's really wanting us to go further and deeper, and something that was stepping more into the supernatural. So I wanted to put that out here today, that there's more. And what we need to do is not be afraid of the more, because I think a lot of people are afraid of stepping into more of the supernatural because of what other people will think around you, or that it might disrupt your life, actually. And sometimes it kind of does. But it is so worth it when we do, because every time he lets us go and do something that seems off the wall, man, He shows up and He shows His glory. And there was something, that's true, I used to be afraid of the more, but after Preston, that's right. I never wanted to talk about a lot of the supernatural things that God was doing, because it was so out there. I thought that one, no one would believe me, and so then it was some sort of weird pride thing, but also that people would just think, oh, that's that weird spiritualist. And so what I have learned is that I need to be that weird spiritualist, And I need to be the person that is okay with being out there, because Jesus was that person. And he was doing all sorts of stuff that the Pharisees hated him for, and everyone else came to know God through. And so I have to be walking in that, and we all need to be walking in that. And so even when it's strange, and you know, there are times when God has taken, doing a lot of traveling in the Spirit, and that is something that is very strange. It's strange to everyone unless you're just following Jesus, and he just shows you what to do, when to do it, what it's like, everything. You start to recognize things and learn his ways. And it's kind of like walking in heaven. At first it's very strange until you start doing it all the time, and then you recognize the culture of heaven. And everything in the supernatural is like that. And so for years I was healing by faith. I would heal people by faith, but I didn't understand it. I just knew if I laid hands on somebody when God said to, then they would be healed. But since doing this for a long time, you know, he started showing, here's how it works. Here's what I do when you're doing this. And he starts teaching us more and more about how his ways are and why things happen and why he wants us to do things certain ways. And then it becomes like science. You know, it's funny. We just go, oh, because this is how God made the world to function, and this is how it works. And we have separated for too long the natural and the supernatural. I don't know if that makes sense, but they really are intermingled. We have these realms that are intermingled, and you can see the spirit realm in the earth, right? Maybe not all of you can, but a lot of you can see the spirit realm in the earth. And then there are others of you who have struggled for a long time with seeing the spirit realm in the earth. But the point is, the natural and the supernatural, they intermingle all the time. And if we don't recognize that we're supposed to intermingle with the supernatural, and as a natural body, that our spirits are supposed to come into line with what's happening in heaven, then we are not going to look different in the earth, and no one will ever come to know God because we aren't looking different in the earth. We have to recognize that we're a part of it, that God will bring people to him, but he's going to use the willing. And so I want to be the willing, and I think we all need to be the willing. We need to be the ones who will step into our supernatural gifts that he pours out on the body. And if we separate ourselves and say, no, I'm just not comfortable with that right now, you know, we should never be comfortable. We should never be comfortable with God. He's going to make us uncomfortable every moment. And as soon as we get comfortable with something, he's going to push us out into more uncomfortability. And so just be ready to be uncomfortable. And so there are things that he will tell you to do. And at first it will be like, hey, go speak in front of a group of people. And you're like, what? I can't do that. And then you speak in front of a group of people, and then you're like, okay, that's no big deal. And then he'll go, oh yeah, so now here's what I want you to do. And so he will just stretch you further and further and further. And every time God does something that is supernatural, he wants us to witness about it. And that is hard. For me, that's been the hardest thing. I can step out in the supernatural, and it can be between you and me, but then just please don't make me tell anybody else. That's how I've felt about it forever. And he's saying, actually, no, it's so you'll talk about it so other people can come and experience me. And so we're supposed to be witnesses in the earth, and we're not supposed to be secret keepers in the earth, actually. And so he is wanting us to steward the mysteries. And so he's not only showing us mysteries, but he's wanting us to be the ones who steward the mysteries. And so as we come to understand more of the mysteries, please steward them. Like, actually be a good steward. And, you know, a good steward isn't the one who goes and buries it, right? If we're good stewards, we're the ones who go and we invest it. And we go and turn it into more and more than it ever was to begin with. And so that's what we need to do, is step into stewarding the mysteries and actually stepping into the supernatural in a big way. And we need to be able to step out in faith in order to do that. And I mean, I've said this before. I hope I'm not just a broken record every time you listen, but really faith is the currency in heaven.
And so if you're going to partner with the heavenly realms, it has to be with faith. You have to believe for it. If you don't believe for it, you won't receive it, no matter what it is. And so you have to believe. Actually, if Jesus walked on water, I can too. Believe that. Because if you don't believe it, you're going to sink. But if you believe it, you can walk on water. Now, I haven't seen anybody walk on water before. I haven't. And I believe that anything Jesus did, we have access to. I really do. I believe that. I believe that anything that was in the Bible, we have access to. And people think I'm crazy when I say, no, I'm not going to die, I'm going to live. You know, I'm not crazy. Elijah did that. Enoch did that. Why can't I do that? If God says I can, I believe that not everybody will walk that life. There will be martyrs. There will be other things. But God has told me that that doesn't apply to me, that I'm going to live and not die. And so when I say that, I'm going to say that confidently because I believe God for it. And I believe that if somebody else has the ability to do that, so do I, if that's what God wants for me. And so I'm going to walk in my destiny, and I'm going to step out in faith, and I'm going to start walking the walk that shocks people. And so if you're shocking people, be thankful. And if all of the Pharisees start coming against you, go, oh, I'm in good company, great. This is really what we should do instead of me going, they don't like me. You know, this is what I was doing for too long. And I would just be upset when someone would come against me because I'm teaching something that isn't what the rest of the church teaches. Well, you know what? I'm teaching stuff that's biblical, and I'm also teaching stuff that is from God. And if you don't believe it's from God, go talk to him about it. He's the one who's, you know, it's all on him. You know, I don't care. You don't have to talk to me about it. Just go talk to him. And he knows. And if he says, hey, what she's doing is not for me, then don't follow me. Please. I don't care. Just go to God. And if he says, go do this instead, then do that. So anyway. Glee said, heard a testimony, some parts in China province, Christian children are just walking on water like it's a normal thing. I've heard that. That's awesome. That's cool. You know, that's what it's supposed to be like. We're supposed to go and trust and do. And I believe at first we're not going to understand how. Because, you know, some people are being shown a lot of things how. I'm being shown a lot of things about how to do things. But every time he makes me step out in faith first, and then he shows me how. And it's like he wants me to believe him first.
You know what?
What?
Sorry to interrupt.
No, it's fine.
God just gave me this image
What?
of a child on a bike.
Mm-hmm.
When you're teaching them how to ride a bike, at first they've got training wheels, maybe. And at first mom or dad is pushing them along. But then, you know, then they're riding the bike. They learn how to ride that bike. And so God just gave me that image just now as you were talking. And that's how our Christian walk is. It's like riding a bike or learning to ride a bike. You know, God's got us the whole way. He only takes off the training wheels whenever we're ready. Whoa.
Yes, that's good. I know I'm ready to not be a toddler and be on training wheels. For too long, we have been going and drinking milk and taking the bottle, and we've been using training wheels and wearing a diaper and asking people to wipe our butts. And we need to just step out of that. And I know, okay, please know, when I say this, I'm saying as a church, as the body of Christ, for a long time, we have asked everybody else to feed us, and we have gone to man for everything, and we have just stayed infants, and we have to be able to step into maturity and start getting our food from God, because he's the one who gives us meat. It's not that we can't get that meat from other people. You can't get meat from coming to this group, by the way. You're not going to get meat. Unless we're engaging in heaven, which we will do soon. But when we're engaging in heaven, that's when you get the meat. And so you get the meat from God. You don't get it from me. You don't get it from anybody else. And so as we start walking and growing and riding our bikes, hopefully we can be those marathon bike riders, you know? I mean, we need to be the ones who are like going forward and fast and really taking ground, and not being the people who will just go slowly for the rest of our lives. You know, I don't want my husband to ride training wheels. That would be embarrassing, you know? And so let's not be like that. Let's just go forward together and stop depending on people. Too many people are idolizing man and saying, oh my goodness, but there's this teacher, and see, they have the anointing, and oh my goodness, you guys, we all have the anointing if we're walking in the Holy Spirit. We should. If you're not having the anointing, then you don't need to go to a person to get it. You got to go to God to get it. I mean, he's the only one. Yes, ma'am?
I have one more thing that God just was telling me. When I was in Silverton, they had this great big humongous bike race.
Mm-hmm.
These people are going from Durango to Silverton, which is 23 miles away, but within those 23 miles is huge mountains, steep roads, windy roads where they could easily fall off the edge, you know, and never mind that. But anyway, just it takes a boatload of strength and energy and endurance to do that, to even train for that. And yet I saw person after person after person going through Silverton, and they still had tons of energy. My point in bringing that up is we're going to go from those little toddlers, those little children with the training wheels, to the racers that are going to be going through town like that.
That's good. Those guys have to have a lot of faith to do that.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, Glee. Oh yeah, we said that already. I don't know. I want to ask if there are any other questions or things that you want to share before we engage in heaven together, because we have about 9 more minutes before we engage together.
Me, right?
Yes, Glee.
Oh, me. Yeah. I think like with everything that you said, I totally agree. It wasn't easy at first to really have your mind change because this world, especially I became a new Christian before. That was 7 years ago. I have all these theologies, these systems. So it's really a hard process for me because God has to really sift me, and like there was a time that I went through alone. Like it was just me because no one understands, and I really had to pray and Lord, what's gonna happen? Like what am I gonna do? And then it's just crazy that he provided people, like, oh my God. So that's how I like, okay, this thing is real, more real than anything else, because he made it possible. And I thank God for technology as well. I'm from the Philippines. It's a long way. So wow, like even right now talking to you guys is just supernatural. So yeah, let's press in.
That's awesome. And think about even 20 years ago, this would not have been possible, that we'd be talking with Glee, who's up at 3, now 4 in the morning, and across the world from us. Praise God.
I don't feel sleepy at all.
You know, a lot of people are disgusted with Facebook and all of this technology and how obsessed everyone is with technology. And to a point, I can agree. But then on the other end of it, God is absolutely using the technology for his glory. It is so cool how God is using technology right now. And so I am very thankful for Facebook and for Zoom and for a computer that can, you know, be sitting on my desk, and a phone that you can be on right now. And, you know, I see that how cool that is, that we have this technology that we can use for God's glory. So anyway, yay. That's awesome. Cool. JD said, is it possible to go to heaven to request something that was given to you in your dream you rejected? In your dream that you rejected, you can go to heaven and ask for anything. I mean, whether you get it or not, I can't tell you, but you know, you can really ask for anything. And if it's something that you have given up in the past, even say you gave up a person or whatever years and years ago, you can still go and ask for that to be redeemed and that you could accept it instead. And so, yeah, I would say if there's any place to ask, it would be in heaven. So that would be perfect. Honestly, I would probably, if you feel like if it was in a dream, then you didn't really sin by rejecting it, right? Unless you feel like in your heart you rejected it before then or something. And if that's the case, then I'd go to the courts of heaven to do that and to repent for the sin of rejecting what God wanted for you or something. But if it's not sin and it's just something that you're asking for that you don't want to reject, then go to the throne room and just ask, you know, and say, hey, can I have this? I really now want to accept it. And I know that there have been times when I've asked for things and Jesus has said, nope, not right now. And I'm just like, okay, whatever you say, that's best. And then there are other times when he's like, would you finally ask? Okay, thank you. Yeah. And so sometimes he just wants us to hold out our hands and be ready for it. You might also feel led to go to the trading floors and trade into that, whatever it might be. So yeah, think about that too. Just pray and go wherever Jesus leads you. He'll be the one to guide you to the right way. Okay, any other questions? We have 5 more minutes. All right, I knew it. Okay, I think it's Carol, but it's really the lady who's with Carol. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm waving.
Hi, what's your name?
Scooter.
Scooter, have I met you before?
I don't. Is this one I met, right?
She's done a few calls with me, and I think she's watched one of your videos. But she came to live with me. She's my little angel.
Awesome.
Oh, help me out.
Yeah, now I'm an angel. Yay!
Okay, what's up?
Wait, I just wanted to introduce her.
Yeah, you're a blessing. You are a blessing, all of y'all.
Thanks, Scooter. I was like, uh-oh, somebody's with Carol. Hopefully she doesn't hate what I say. And then I saw some nodding, and I'm like, okay, she's safe.
Yeah, you're awesome.
I think God brought her here so she could learn.
Praise God. That's cool. Well, welcome, Scooter.
Thank you.
Wonderful. All right. So if we don't have any more questions, how about let's just engage in heaven together, shall we? Yes. All right. I'm going to turn off my video. Feel free to do the same, or if you want to keep your video on, that's fine too. Jesus, we just want to commit our hearts and our minds to you right now. And we commit our imagination to you, and we know that you can be the one to lead it. So we trust you right now that whatever comes into our mind that we experience, that it will be from the Spirit and not from the enemy or even from ourselves. Thank you, Lord. Jesus, I just see that that there is a door. Actually, it's like a gate that he's wanting us to walk through, at least me. Feel free, if there's anything you experience, to say it out loud or type it in the chat box. And go where you feel led to go, even if it's different from where I'm leading, because he could be leading you somewhere different. But we do want to share with one another. So Jesus, please just take us where you want us to go. Open our eyes and our ears and even all of our senses to be able to experience you. Thank you, Lord. Well, I just saw that there was this big white horse that I was led, I don't know, I think it's not just me, but I was led down, like, it was through this beach, but into the water with this horse. But I'm still like up above the water and not in the water. Thank you, Lord. And then the horse just started coming out of the water, like almost flying, kind of coming out of the water. Thank you. I feel like God, what he's telling me is to trust him even in the weird places. He knows I'm not comfortable with horses or anything like that. And so I really believe he's trying to tell me to just trust him and not control anything. And now he's showing me this book and having me open up the book. And I can see he's wanting me to experience the book and what's inside of it, but not to become the book or become what's in the book anyway. It's really just to learn and observe. Christine said, I saw you on the horse, but you also were lifting people out in lower mountains to bring them up. Yes, Lord. Carol says, Scooter sees the book, but it's in Braille. She can feel the words. And I'm not seeing words, I'm just seeing these two boys playing that are inside the book, but the boys are dressed like, oh, not that long ago, but like in maybe the 1800s or something, that sort of dress that they would wear. Like, I don't know, but they're just playing around and they're in front of this monument kind of thing. I think he's showing me some sort of, like it's something they're celebrating or observing when they're dancing around this monument. I really get the impression that God is trying to say, to show us what they did, but to not do that. That's something, it's about, we shouldn't be celebrating in that way. I don't know if anyone understands this or not, but if you do, please say something. I do feel like that it's traditions
that it's some sort of traditional celebration, and it's a tradition we are not supposed to keep. But that the boys didn't even know what it was about, really, but they were just doing it because it was a tradition to do that. And Glee said, I see celebration too, like a feast, old European look. Yeah, that's the kind of the sense I got. I felt the innocence of the boys, like they weren't really doing anything knowingly wrong. But it was like a warning to not be doing what they're doing. And then Carol said, to me, it's kind of a pillar, and they were going around it. Scooter says they're talking to each other, telling the younger boy about it. That's exactly, it was like a really large white, I don't know if pillar's the right word, but it is something in that. It wasn't a person or anything. It was some sort of, big white thing. But I saw like a point on the top and not a round. It wasn't round like a pillar that I think of anyway. And now I just saw the scene shift to a different place where there are these pine trees. And then Carol said like a maypole kind of. I saw a point to maybe like an Asherod. I don't know.
Is there a word like an obelisk or something like that?
I don't know. Write that down. When I saw the woods, like these pine trees and stuff, then it was scary inside of the woods. And I got the impression that by doing the dancing and stuff around like this tradition, that what it did was bring them into a really scary place where they were running for their lives from something. And so I get the impression that God is trying to show me or show us that it's by celebrating these festivals, it's doing something. Even when we're innocent, it's doing something and bringing us into a dark place and an evil place where we don't understand where we are or what to do. And so I think for me, I've been having some conviction about some of the pagan festival things, I guess, holidays and stuff that I've celebrated all of my life because of tradition. And so this might have something to do with that. Well, Jesus, I'm ready to step out of the book and just experience more of you and your love and the Father's love, whatever he wants for us. He just showed me I needed to, like right now, I need to dive into the river of life and really just get washed off and refreshed and have a calm. Glee said, yeah, I saw dancing earlier too, and yeah, it seems dark too. No more of that. I feel the joy and the light and all of that
in the river. Ilka said, I saw a ladder going up to the heavens, step by step going up. I felt that I was being helped on both sides. Got to the top and saw a cloud. Yeshua and I went into the cloud and got out into a place full of light. I felt that I was there because I needed to have light infused in me, the light and essence of the Father. Yes, Lord. Well, as I was in the river, I started doing like these, I don't remember what it's called. I used to do gymnastics, and it's like a back handspring sort of thing, but a walkout. Anyway, I was doing those over and over in the water as if it was like a dance to God in the water. And he was really emphasizing that this is the only place that we celebrate is with him, and that we celebrate in his goodness, and that everything else is not real celebration, that it will only bring us into darkness. And so the true joy comes only from him. Christine said, I see crowns being placed on heads. And Glee said, yeah, I saw in the river like glitter stuff covering with different colors. Yeah, it's like fireworks in the river. I'm getting the impression he wants to give us gifts, but not just normal gifts, but gifts that we can go and trade on the trading floor before the throne, on the sea of glass. And so I feel like he's wanting to give us a gift to then go trade God for something else. And so I don't know why the trade, but I believe him and I trust him. So I just hold out my hands to Jesus and take whatever you have for me. Show me what it is, please. Father, I just give this to you. I want you to give me whatever I need in return. Whatever you want from me. Linda said I received a sword. I received this big, I don't know what they're called. It's kind of like a cannonball looking thing, but it had a different side on one side. Glee said she received like a peacock feather. what God was showing me was I was to trade that in. And he was showing me that instead of, destroying, this is going to sound funny to you, but instead of destroying people's theology and all of that, that he was replacing that with this way to kind of mend and cover people's theology to make it all right. Kind of like a great big blanket that had a bunch of tears in it, and just being able to go put this coating on it that would mend it and that would make it right. Thank you, Lord. Carol said Scooter received sand and is asking if you have revelation on it. I would just take that sand to the trading floor and take it from your hands and place it in Melchizedek's hands or in the Father's hands, or maybe at his feet, whatever you feel led to do. And just place that with them and see what he gives you in return. Well, sometimes we're given things in the heavenly places that are meant for something different. If you're confused about it, just ask Jesus, what is it for? What do I do with it? And ask him to show you more and see if he tells you or if you get revelation of it. Carol said more time is what she received. That's cool. And Ilka said I received a box. Thank you, Lord. Christine said I received an open book. Christine, was there anything written on your book? Linda said I laid my sword at the Father's feet. He sharpened it and shined it and handed it back to me. Christine said, no, I can't see it, but I lost my angels to help. I'll tell you what I saw. That's why I was asking. I saw in your book that it was blank, but that you had your hand on a pen with God's hand on the same pen, like you're holding it together and writing it together. And I got the feeling that this was your book of destiny, that this was, you know, we know that He has written out what's on your destiny. But in your book, there are blank pages that you're supposed to write together. And so take that to Him and see what that means for you. But something different, but very, very unique and cool, I think. And Glee said, with also the trading of the Father, He said, He will just make everything even clearer. And Pat, I received something that I'm supposed to give to you, and it was like I don't know what exactly it is, but like a big long rod or stick of some sort, but I was holding it sideways, and I'm not exactly sure what it's for, but I know that I'm supposed to give it to you. So hopefully you understand that. Pat said, thanks, don't have a clue. Okay, well, just ask Jesus if you would. Joy said, in faith, I gave a box or gift to Father saying, just want more of you and to see and hear better. Also had total different experience at the beginning. That's very fine. I got a clear indication of something. It's like He was showing me my role, another one of my roles in the kingdom. I just was shown that I was supposed to sit up on this lifeguard post, and that He was showing me how just like a lifeguard will kind of guide and help and get ready to save people or whatever, they still aren't doing the swimming for anyone, and that they are just kind of there as a guide to make sure everything is okay, but that my role isn't to do anything for anyone, just to be there in case, to try to help them out or keep them and everyone else safe. Thank you, Lord. Joy said, I saw like three levels bottom, all snakes and medicine stuff, stairs with wings all over, and one huge set of wings, and in the center top, all Jesus in gold. Weird. Ilka said, I asked Yeshua what was in the box, and the Father said, commands. He told me to take it to the scribes. I put the box on top of the table. It seemed like the commands needed to be recorded. That's cool. And Linda said, I'm seeing bright red like a floor. And then Glee said, I saw this unique head accessory that is quite tall on the head, a silver one, and it's like moving like a wheel or a fan. I keep seeing so many different things for different people, but I don't know who all the people are. I even feel like they're not in this group right now, which doesn't make sense, but thank you, Lord. Jesus, thank you for revealing more of what we're supposed to do with you. I know that sometimes I just get off in my own world with you, and I want to make sure I'm always yielded to what you want to do. And Jesus, sometimes when things are not making sense, please just make sense of them for us and show us what everything means, what our next steps need to be, all of that. We love you so much and we want to do your will. And so please continue to remind us to just govern diligently over our mountains and to understand more of your ways by growing more. Thank you, Lord. We commit all of this time to you, and we want to just ask that you cover it in the blood right now, and we just declare blessings and protection over all of the things that you reveal to us and over every person who is in this group right now, that they would be protected and go forth from here to live a prosperous and hopeful future like you have guaranteed us. Thank you. We love you so much. Amen.
Amen.
Oh, I saw Christine said, I see a zip liner and we are crossing over to the other side of the mountain. That is so cool. Ilka said, this is Tanya. Hello, I saw a letter A and to place it on my mountain. That's cool. Now you got to ask what that's about. All right. Well, you guys, it is 4:00 and I have an appointment right now with one of you who I won't mention just in case you want to keep it private. But anyway, I have an appointment with one of you. So I'm going to kick everybody else out. And it means I love you. Not that I hate you, but I will see you soon. I will tell you next week, I may or may not be able to get on for this thing. I'm going to be in Dallas, and I don't know exactly if I'll have good coverage where I'm at because it'll be on the way home. So anyway, I wanted to put it out there. I'll try to keep in contact right before, but pay attention to the Facebook group to see if we're having it or not, okay? Please give me grace in that. I love you guys. All right, see ya. Bye. Okay, sorry.
Love you. Shalom.
Love you too.
Bless you.
Bye, Christine.
Bye.
Bless you all. Thank you.
Again.
Thanks, guys.